This is the story of St. Clare. Clare was born on July 16, 1194 in Assisi, Italy. Her family was wealthy. She could have lived a very comfortable life as the daughter of a count. Her town of Assisi was located in the Umbria region of Italy, and there were lots of war and conflict at the time. Born a little more than a decade before Clare, St. Francis was the son of a well-to-do cloth merchant. Francis fought in the conflict and dreamed of achieving military glory. He was captured, and when he was a prisoner of war, Francis heard God ask him if he wanted to be a servant of God or of an earthly leader. Francis dedicated his life to God. He lived a simple life with humility and loving nature. Clare was drawn to the teachings and the lifestyle of Francis. She met with him on a number of occasions until, after hearing him speak on Palm Sunday, she knew that she wanted to follow God with Francis. In the middle of the night, she left her parents' home and found her way to Francis and the brothers. She cut off her long hair and exchanged her rich gown for a plain robe and veil. When her father and uncles found out that she had left to join Francis, they went to the monastery and commanded her to return home. She refused, clinging to the altar. She was not leaving. She pulled off her veil to reveal that her hair was gone and showing that the decision had already been made. Many joined Clare, including her mother and her sisters, and soon the poor Clares were housed in a church and convent of San Damiano near Assisi. The poor Clares led an unusually austere life for women at the time, walking barefoot around town, begging for alms, wearing sackcloth, and living without any possessions, eating only what they collected that day. All of this they did while living a life of prayer and contemplation. Monks and nuns live their lives according to a rule of life that sets out their schedule and practices. Clare and her community first received the rule of St. Benedict and then the rule of St. Francis as the rule they were to follow. However, Clare fought for the poor Clares to be allowed to live by the rule that she wrote that embraced absolute poverty. On August 10, 1253, Clare finally received papal approval for the rule that she had written 34 years earlier. It was the first approved rule written by a woman. She died one day later. We often see St. Clare holding a monstrance. This custom arises from one of the greatest miracles which she performed. In the year 1234, the army of Frederick II was plundering the part of Umbria which included Assisi. As the invaders sought to enter the convent, they placed a ladder at the window. Clare went to one of the chapels and took the ciborium and brought it to the window near the place where the soldiers had set their ladder. When she raised the Blessed Sacrament on high, the soldiers fell off their ladder and ran away. St. Clare was often very sick and spent many years practically confined to her bed. One Christmas, she was too ill to attend church, and the images and the sounds of the entire Mass appeared in full on the wall of her room in what might be called the first televised church service. In 1957, she was made the patron saint of screens. Surely she has guided us as we have adapted to Zoom church over the last 2 years. On her deathbed in 1253, Clare urged her sisters, "Go forth without fear, for you have a good guide for your journey. Go forth without fear, for he that created you has sanctified you. He has always protected you and loves you as a mother."